Welcome to another episode of the Not Your Culture podcast. On this week's episode, we catch up with another one of my NYU friends, Mykel Agyenim-Boateng, as he reflects on his recent visit to his home country, which he left when he was only 4 years old. Born in Accra, Ghana, and raised in the Bronx, New York, Mykel has been surrounded by creatives all his life. He's a man of God first, a musician, producer, and an artist, but at his core, simply a creative. Let's dive in as I catch up with an old friend as he revisits that reconnection to his home country. Hi, everyone. My name is Jonathan Phillip, and welcome to the Not Your Culture podcast. It's another episode. You know me, I'm a multi-hyphenate creative, and today I have a very special guest, my good friend, Mykel Agyenim-Boateng.
Yes, sir.
Mykel and I both went to NYU together. We met as commuter students. We both lived off campus. Mykel is from the Bronx.
Yes.
But originally is from Accra, Ghana.
Yes.
What's interesting about Mykel is he left Ghana when he was 3 years old. So it's gonna be a very interesting one because he spent majority of his life here in the US. But before we get there, I don't even want to start talking about the transition first. Do you even remember anything from 3 years old?
So I was about 4 when I left. The only thing I remember, we left very, very early in the morning. And I remember leaving my little brother on his bed. And I vaguely remember going into the airport, leaving the airport in Ghana and arriving in the US. Funny enough, I still have the same outfit that I wore that day. So I kept that. But yeah, I remember little spurts. I also do remember when we first got into our apartment, but for me, it was like, didn't really understand what was going on. It was a new environment. Yep. So, I mean, I didn't know I was in the US.
Yeah. So they didn't, you don't remember them telling you?
No one told me anything. Nobody told me anything.
So they just pack your bags?
Yeah, pack my bags. Let's go. Like, okay, maybe they told me and I probably don't remember, but from my knowledge, no, told me.
Yeah. And was that your first time traveling?
That was my first time traveling, yes.
Okay. That is very interesting. And it was just you? Your brother didn't?
It was just me. So my brother was actually born in the U.S.
Okay.
Born in the U.S., moved to Ghana, I think almost when he was like 1 year old or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he spent like 4 years in Ghana.
Okay.
So I had left when he was like 2 years old or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, he was born here. Obviously, I was born in Ghana, came over here, but I spent like a year with him together in Ghana. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy to say the least.
Do you know why you moved?
Yeah, so for me and my family, it was more of a thing of giving us a better opportunity in the U.S., whether it was, for education, jobs, because obviously, at least at the time, education system here was much better than it was in Ghana, and like just overall opportunities in general. So
yeah. So speaking of opportunities and just being able to like live as your full self,
yes,
Mykel is also a multi-hyphenate creative.
I dabble.
Outside of the creative side, Mykel is a financial analyst at UBS.
Yes.
So very smart guy, very successful guy. But somehow he's been able to balance being one of the most incredible musicians and producers
come on, man.
that I know. Okay. You play... Your name on Instagram has changed so many times from like Kel
Sticks to Kel Keys to Kel Bass now. But hey, I think I'm going to keep the Kel Bass for a little bit.
So you play keys, drums, sax, I think you play. And now you're focusing mostly on the bass.
Mostly on bass.
But you're also a producer. You're an engineer as well, because I know at your church, you do a lot of recording. Yes, and engineering in general. That's fantastic.
I'm trying. Look.
And then you got into like photography stuff.
Yes.
You're doing some video stuff as well.
Kudos to you. Look, I'm just trying to follow you on that.
I don't know where you find the time.
Yeah.
Like you're one of these people, I'm not gonna lie, you're one of these people I look at and I'm like, this man does so many things and he finds the time to excel at all of these things. I admire you, bro, so much for that.
I really appreciate that, man. I think for me, it comes down to like my faith. I'm a huge believer in God, and I feel like all I've been able to do has been because of God.
Yes.
So I just do the best I can with what I have and like allow God to take care of the rest. Like obviously it's hard to plan and it's hard to like manage everything, but it's like with certain things, if you love it, you make the time for it.
Yep.
And I think that's just the type of flow that I've been, able to get into. Like anything I love, it's like I don't care if it's 4 a.m., 3 a.m. Like I'll stay up and do it, and I won't really feel bad about it. It's like I'm putting in the effort and putting in the time to grow in whatever craft I'm interested in. So yeah, for me, it's like it's about that and like making sacrifices. Like I'm anything I'm truly like interested in, I'm willing to make the sacrifice to grow and get better at it. So that's always been my mindset, especially the way my parents have raised me. So it's like, yeah.
And your parents are very supportive of your creative.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Mykel went to NYU Stern, which is the business school at NYU. And
I am Stern.
Yes. He is Stern. Stern's slogan is "I am Stern," by the way. It's a pretty rigorous program, right? Did you go for finance?
Yes, I went for finance, business concentration.
Okay.
And I also did the business of media, entertainment, and technology minor.
Yes. Okay. So that's a special minor that lets either business students study coursework in the creative fields and combines them, as it said, it's business of entertainment, media
and technology.
And it also allows creative students in creative fields to do business subjects for the same reason, to combine these two areas. What was interesting about going to school with Mykel, though, is like as a finance student, again, like it was so fascinating. Made the time to perfect both sides of his being and his craft.
Yeah.
Like Mykel was not studying music. I think you took a couple classes.
I took a couple classes.
Like a couple electives.
Yeah.
But this man was literally the engineer for the recorded music students in the Tisch Art School. Like we have one friend who was doing the recorded music program at NYU Tisch, and she pretty much recruited Mykel
for everything
to help her record and was teaching her. He's taught me stuff, and my background was in music technology, and then on top of that, I think she also like you were recording for her friends as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like I was in Stern, but almost like half my time was spent in Clive. Like it's crazy.
Clive is the Clive Davis Recorded Music Department. That's the full name, by the way. So I always found that like really, really fascinating. Bro, big kudos to you.
Man, thank you.
You're absolutely great at what you do. I mean, I remember you sending me demos. You still send me demos and completed tracks, and I heard the progress. Yep. Your mixes are clean.
Yeah,
and you have a style that my playlist is always on shuffle.
Yeah.
But like I put like all the songs that I plan on listening to in the same. It's like 3,000 songs.
Yeah, that's great.
So, and it's like all genres.
Yeah.
But every time one of your songs comes up, even if it's not something I listen to all the time, I'm like, that's a Mykel.
You know it. You know it. You can hear it. Like the first note. That's it.
Such beautiful music.
Yeah,
and I will link it in the comments on the YouTube video.
Yes.
But we'll also at the end we'll have you give your details.
Perfect.
So back to your migration to the US. Other than you leaving Ghana, do you have any memories of Ghana from your childhood?
I have very, very little memories of my childhood.
Okay.
I think the things I remember the most are things that traumatized me. I remember this one time. It was hot. For some reason, I just said, like we're in the playground at my, I think it was the kindergarten school I used to go to. Funny enough, I actually visited the school again. But we were at a playground there, and like we were messing around or whatever. And I went down the slide, but I went down the slide knees first.
Knees first?
Yes. I don't know why. Again, it makes no sense, but I went down knees first.
Was this the plastic or metal?
Oh, it was metal. It was metal. It was metal. Why I did it, I don't know. But
you were like two.
It's crazy. Yeah, I remember that.
You know what? You didn't have a real childhood if you don't have scars on your knee.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
For sure.
I stand by that.
That's a must.
Yeah,
you need it. If you don't have it, try again.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. I remember that. I remember I got into this argument with this kid once, and we're in school, and he cursed, and he blamed it on me. And the teacher didn't believe me.
Wait, he said you cursed?
Yeah, he said I cursed. He said I said that for it, whatever. And he blamed it on me.
Not my Mykel.
Yeah, no. I'm like, he's telling the teacher, oh, he cursed. I'm telling the teacher, I ain't say that. I was even talking. I'm just doing my work. And teacher didn't believe me, back, how it is in Ghana. Like, so she took me up to the front, had a ruler, smacked my arm, my hand a couple times. Yeah, it's trauma. That's all I remember. Other than that, I feel like I have like no solid memory of my time there. So this trip back was definitely like very eye-opening, and like it was the first time I actually felt like a foreigner.
Yeah.
In my home country. Yeah. So it was very ironic.
So the reason why Mykel is here, and I got him like fresh back, because you came back on like Sunday.
No, I came back Sunday. Yeah, Sunday.
Mykel just came back from Ghana for the first time since he left.
Yeah.
It's been 20
years.
20 years.
First time in 20 years, yeah. 2 decades. Yeah.
And so what was the experience like? First of all, was this a trip that you planned on your own? Did you go with family? Did you go alone?
So it was a trip I went with. I also went with my girlfriend.
Okay.
As well. So we both went. For me, like the trip was, I hadn't seen family. I hadn't seen my grandmother. And obviously, like I was at 20 years. So it was like, for me, it was like, if I don't go now, when won't I go type of thing. So. Yeah.
How old is she?
She is 73, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, 73. 73, and she's moving too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was an important, family trip for me to, see my family, and also, get acquainted with my roots and, explore Ghana. So yeah, planning that trip, it was like it was very important.
Yeah.
To visit. So yeah.
And what was the experience like? Coming up to that trip, was it something you were excited for? Were you nervous at all?
Absolutely excited. So I think at first, I was a little excited. I was like, okay, yes, finally, I'm gonna go to Ghana. I'm gonna see my family, explore a little bit. And it kind of got overshadowed by, the work life and all that, and balancing all that. So it's like, for me, a lot is going on, but it wasn't until, I guess, like a week before I actually went, or like the time I actually bought the plane ticket, I was like, oh no, snap, I'm actually going.
Yeah.
So I think as it got closer to that date, I was more excited and more like, a little anxious, because, at that time you don't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it was very, I guess, nostalgic, to say the least. Yeah. So. And
so when you got off the plane, what's your memory of getting off the plane? What are the sights, the smells, the sounds? Do you remember? I mean, I didn't ask you to remember all these things, but I don't know. I think it's definitely like a special trip.
Absolutely.
So like, I feel like there should be a lot of senses tied to that experience. What was that first experience getting off the plane? Sorry.
For me, the smell was very earthy.
Okay.
Like very, very earthy. If the air felt very fresh, it felt very, open.
Yeah.
Obviously here in New York, you smell cigarettes and asphalt. But
these are the nice things.
Yeah. But yeah, it felt very, fresh, very earthy, very, welcoming.
Yeah.
But I think for me, the thing that I guess shocked me the most was the actual sights of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was like, the hustle of people around, which like the hustle culture is crazy.
Okay. Is it like a very busy place?
Oh yeah, very busy. But it's like it's an interesting busy. It's not like it's a laid back busy. It's almost a busy because you have to type thing.
Okay.
So it's like, because of the state of the economy there, it's like everyone needs to have some sort of business to hold them down.
Okay.
Whether it's, you have a little kiosk stand and you're selling merch, or like you're selling book bags, or you're selling, sandals or flip-flops, whatever. Or you're selling food in the middle of the highway, which is like, that was the whole trip. Everywhere we went, it doesn't matter whether we were in the streets or on the highway, like people are are selling stuff to you. Like, sometimes people come up straight to your car like, yo, you want to buy plantain chips? Or you want to? So it was like, for me, it was a shock because obviously in New York, you have people that come to your cars begging for like money or like food and whatnot. But it was like, this was like a whole nother level of hustle, a whole nother level of like, man, I need to make ends meet. I need to, provide for my family, do this, do that.
Did you get picked up by like family or?
Oh, yeah. I got picked up by my aunt. Funny enough, I saw my aunt for the first time in May. I think it was like April or May. She came to the U.S., spent some time with us. So that was actually my first time seeing my aunt. But after then, she's the one that picked me up. Okay. And we planned it as a surprise for my grandmother. So my grandmother didn't know I was coming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she picked me up from the airport with her children, her husband, and then one of my uncles. Okay. So it was a very, very interesting, experience, surprising my grandmother that way. But yeah.
And how did that go?
Oh, she was shocked. she was shocked. Yeah, I wish I could like have the video somewhere, but yeah, she was like genuinely shocked because no one told her anything. Yeah, like, and funny enough, she had spoken to my mother literally the day I was leaving. So like no one told her anything. Usually, sometimes like if we try to surprise her, my uncle knows about it. Sometimes he like, tell it or like hint to it on the side. Yeah. Like this time I called him like, no, like don't tell her anything. Like, I want her to be, genuinely shocked. And she indeed was shocked. But it was really, really nice.
And you have a relationship. You've spoken on the phone and stuff.
Yeah. Spoken on the phone. We've like video called and FaceTimed a few times, but it's never.
It's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same as seeing the person and, seeing me in person, in flesh and whatever. Yeah. So it was a very interesting, very surreal experience for me. Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
That is lovely. And so while you were there, did you spend were you staying with family?
Yeah, staying with family.
Okay. Yeah. How many you were staying with your
Yeah, staying with my grandmother, yep.
How many people live in that house?
So it's a compound. And there's like 3 separate buildings. So it's my grandmother, she lives in one building. And then me, I'm in one building. And then we have my uncle, his wife, in another building. I think they have one child as well. And then we have my uncle, his wife, and then 2 other kids in another building. So like compound of 3 buildings were all like in the same, area. Yeah. So it was like, pretty intimate. But everyone still has like their own space. So, yeah.
And would you say that like the compound arrangement is something that's very common?
Oh yes, there? Yes. Yeah,
so I can assume it's very like family.
Yeah, very very
family and community centric.
Heavily.
Yeah.
Heavily.
That must be nice though.
Yeah.
Like I mean, as someone who comes from a small island, like I can get how like people in your business all the time.
Everybody knows everything.
But I think it's also sweet. I think I cherish community a lot more. Yeah. Like now that I've lived here, which is New York is a little bit more individualistic. Yes. And then it's just even like unless you like own a home
that
here.
was a huge change for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It was a very big change for me because I'm a very independent person.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I'm still family oriented, but like I'm a very, very independent person. Like my family here, we're all pretty independent.
Yeah.
Still family centered, but like, everybody does their own thing and, whatnot. But over there, it was a little bit different, only because, again, like we are all in the same space, but it's like even things like, eating, like, we're all eating together. Like, sometimes my grandmother would make me food. If I went out or something and then came back, she'd have food prepared for me. Like, we'd be upstairs, I'd eat, and like she's sitting around with me and, that sort of thing. But had it been me here, I probably just like got my food, went to my room or studio or something, and like kept working. Yeah. So it was definitely a different change, a different pace.
Yeah.
So
were you completely off, like on vacation while you were there? Or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I ain't taking my work phone or nothing. Like, could be an emergency. I don't have my phone. Can't reach you. Yeah, that's it.
It's your time off. I agree.
It's my time off, man.
Okay. So it must have been nice though, like having that community.
Absolutely.
Around you.
Absolutely.
That's really good. Yeah. I've one thing that stood out for me a lot is like the meaning of community and like how special it is.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of the new issues that we have especially on this side of the world, comes from the individualistic.
Yes.
Like, I feel like people are very unhappy.
Yeah.
You know,
bro.
we are social creatures.
Yeah.
And it's
Can't do everything on your own.
Exactly. And then even just having people around you too.
I
mean, there's balance. Like, for me, I consider myself an introvert, so like there will be times where I'm like, my social battery's just then I'll just
that's it.
go into my own.
I get that. I get that.
But at the same time, it's nice to have someone there that, even if you're just sitting in the same space, like it's a really nice feeling.
Absolutely.
So, what was on the agenda? Was it a planned trip? Did you have like things that you wanted to do, or did you just wing it, or did you have people like showing you around and?
So funny enough, I thinking back, I always feel like I should have planned the trip a little bit better.
Okay.
Because I didn't.
Men.
Yeah. Man. But yeah, I think I should have planned the trip a little bit better. It's like I didn't really know what to expect. I think maybe in the back of my mind, how I was expecting some similarities to here, but like over there, time is a little wonky. Like spending a week, and my trip was short too, so it was only like 6 days or like 5 days if you count traveling, whatever.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, I have 5 days. Like 5 days in Ghana is basically like 2 days because traffic and this, that, and the third. So
yeah.
I was aware of it a little bit. Like my girlfriend, she always told me, was like, oh, like it's a lot to squeeze in 5 days.
Yeah.
And time in Ghana is different. But obviously, like until you actually experience it, it's like, oh snap. Okay.
Is she from Ghana?
She's also from Ghana. Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Born?
No, born here, but
okay.
she spent some time in Ghana.
Okay.
Well. Yeah.
So she was like the expert.
Oh yeah. She was the expert. She was the expert. But yeah, for me, like the main thing I went into the trip knowing was, okay, I definitely want to see family. At least like the key people that raised me during that 4-year gap.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see a few landmarks in Ghana.
Okay.
Where do we go? We went to Kwame Nkrumah Memorial.
Okay.
Kwame Nkrumah was like the first president in Ghana.
Okay.
So I was like, that I definitely have to go see. And then Cape Coast. Cape Coast Castle is where they held the slaves in West Africa or in Ghana before, they would have to...
The enslaved people.
Yes, the enslaved people.
Yes.
Before they... yeah. So those two I knew I definitely, wanted to see. And then the rest was, just spending time with, people that mattered. So
yeah. How was the trip to Cape Coast?
Oh, that was very, very interesting.
Okay.
First of all, the drive there.
Okay.
Another wake-up call was the roads in Ghana. So the trip was in total like 2 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 2 hours, 3 minutes, almost 3 hours. And we left pretty early. We left around like 4:30.
Okay.
That way, we didn't like 5, or that way we didn't, catch traffic. But the trip was long, but not because of the distance, because of the condition of the roads. It was like non-existent. Literally non-existent. Like,
but was it like there is no like asphalt road, or was it like a situation where like there was one, it's just not maintained?
So combination of both.
Okay.
Yeah, combination of both. Like we had some asphalt roads, like the bumps, it's crazy. Speed bumps on the highway is insane. Like like the roads like really made like the trip longer than it was supposed to be. Because I feel like with the distance, it was probably like driving from here to like Stanford. So like so it wasn't really that long, but like the condition of the roads was very, very bad. Funny enough, like I thought it was bad, but like talking to my parents, told to my father, he was like, no, that's not the worst. So I was like, okay, it get worse than this. I was like, wow. But yeah, so like literally as we were driving, a section of the highway was like literally carved out and dug out, I think in preparation for the government, trying to make it better. But like it's been like that for like 5 years.
So you heard it here first. The government has dig up the road everywhere. All right. Although for us is Wasco. Wasco is St. Lucia's water and sewage company.
Oh, sad.
There's like a whole thing in St. Lucia that like whenever the government freshly paves the road.
Yeah.
Wasco decides now is the time to dig it up to go do it.
Yo. Oh, so it was common everywhere.
Yeah.
It was common everywhere. They all doing it.
Like yeah, man.
Yeah.
Fresh.
All right, roll them up.
I love my
man.
people.
Oh, man.
And then getting to that historic site itself.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. First of all, the view. Hopefully, I could probably send you something to. So, but the view,
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Like the view was amazing. Like you'd see, what is it? Atlantic. Yeah, the Atlantic Ocean.
Mhm.
It's like literally all you see is ocean. All you see is like it for me, it was like very, very serene,
Mhm.
but then very ironic as well, because obviously like this was like the last,
Yeah.
I guess door of no return, or like place of no return
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
lot of these, enslaved people. So it was very, like for me, it was a very emotional experience.
Yeah.
Because it was like I've been able to see this where my ancestors probably would have never been in this situation before.
Yeah.
Or so for me it was like a blessing that I got to see where the struggles originated,
Mhm.
and it was more like, for me it was more like a triumph thing. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a very, very emotional experience, to say the least.
Yeah.
So
And I think it's also what's actually also interesting. I've been Ta-Nehisi Coates recently released a book where he, in the first part, I think it was the first part of the book. It's in 3 sections. He went to Senegal,
okay.
and he went to a similar point
Yeah.
in Senegal where the enslaved people were put before they were sent over. But like something that he brought to light was like, you're looking from the other side of the Atlantic.
Yes.
And there was something surreal about that, where it's like when you live on the East Coast in the US, you're looking that way, and then from Africa you're looking the other way. And
yeah.
there's something like deeply
Absolutely.
yeah. There's something deep about that, you know?
Like you have the freedom to see both sides.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. At your own will.
at your own will.
Yeah.
Heavy at your own will.
Yeah.
That's the power behind it.
Yeah. So tell me, was it just these 2 things you were able to do?
So aside from these, aside from those 2 things, I was actually able to go to one of the houses that my family's building.
Mhm.
We've been building this house since before I left.
Before you left?
Yeah, before I left. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's actually a picture of me on our compound when we were like first laying our foundation.
Yeah.
And I was like 3 years old in that picture. So
Is that the one with you in the fire pit?
yeah.
The album cover?
So I was able to, visit the house and actually see how things are going.
Mhm.
My dad actually spent like a few months in Ghana this summer. So he would send us, updates on how the house is going.
Mhm.
But actually seeing it in person and visualizing it, it's like, okay, now I see what's going on.
Do your parents plan to move back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know my dad wants to retire there. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it's their home.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's what they know. So
Because I think sometimes when people leave, you all left for a purpose.
Yep.
I mean, you didn't leave for a purpose. You were made, the purpose was made for you.
Made for me. Yeah, I come.
But I think it's interesting when people as adults leave their land, because there are some people who don't want to go back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess technically that's when you're escaping something.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like they weren't escaping for something, they were just looking for more.
Yeah.
And more to bring back.
More to bring back. Yep.
So I think that's very interesting. I think that's something I love that.
Yeah.
I think St. Lucia is always going to be my home.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. Tell me about something that surprised you, other than the role. Was there anything in particular that surprised you? Maybe some preconception you had about what it would be like, that like maybe you would turn completely around, or was there just anything that you couldn't even have expected that happened, but that just was like, oh wow, this is shocking?
No, I think the main thing that surprised me the most was the hustle culture. Like,
Okay.
like people coming up to your cars trying to sell you stuff.
Yeah.
Like even seeing, little kids come to your window, like, signaling that they want food. Like, it was the saddest thing ever. It's like, no, like there's, the culture here is different. Like, it made me realize, like, okay, no, I'm actually blessed with what I have here. Like, there's nothing to complain about, because whatever, troubles you think you're going through is like, no, people have it worse. Like, some people are struggling to make ends meet. Some people are like, it was very, like, I think that's what shocked me the most. And it's not like it's not like it was something that I didn't know, but again, like, experiencing and seeing it firsthand is always different. Yeah. So I think that was the thing that shocked me the most. It was like, a lot of times it isn't because you want to, or like, it was like you have to work to make ends meet. And like the way the currency inflates there is like, it makes things worse. It's like you have to hustle more. You have to, like, so.
How much is what currency do they use?
They use the CD.
CD?
Yeah. CEDI.
CD. Okay.
Yeah, CD.
And what is $1 to?
$1, I think now is like 17. Okay. Yeah. So it's it's funny enough. It used to be, I think earlier this year, it used to be like 12. Okay. It used to be 12. So like, imagine that gap.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Like, it's insane. So it's like, you have to work 10 times as hard than you did.
Almost 20.
Yeah, almost 20 times as hard. Like, than you did in January now. So it's crazy. Like, it's very, very crazy. But that shocked me the most. That absolutely shocked me the most. Like, for me, I think it even made me want to hustle harder.
Yeah.
Like,
I was gonna ask you, like, when you're back now, like, how do you think that you've changed since you've been
more
back?
Grateful. I'm more grateful. Like, I'm 100 times more grateful. Like, literally, God has put me in a position where, obviously, we all have our struggles, we all have our worries, but it's like, no, I'm grateful for what I've been able to have. I'm grateful, that I even have a job that pays me, decently well. So, like, I'm grateful I got a roof over my head, family that looks out for me. So it's like, it put me in a place where it's like, nah, like, I actually have it good. Yeah. I actually have it good. Whatever problems I think I have is really not that deep. Yeah. Like, it's really not that deep. Yeah. So, I mean, and it's not like I'm a person where I need a lot to satisfy me. Yeah. Because, I mean, that's not really, my nature. Like, I'm a pretty simple person. Yeah. Like, it doesn't take much. But, like, now I think I have a deeper appreciation for what I have. Like, for me, even my piano, because I didn't have, like, I didn't have no instruments. And I was like, oh gosh, I get to play my piano again, play my bass again. So, I have a deeper appreciation for what I have now. Yeah.
The most motivated person I know just got even more motivated.
Yeah. That's it. That's it, man. That's it, man. That's it.
I'm so happy to hear that, man. Now, something you brought up that I thought was very interesting. I mean, I've never even considered this, but, like, you did bring up the fact that you came here not on your own will, but your parents' own will. Yeah. But you grew up Black in America.
Yes.
Is that something that you've thought about, like, growing up? Is that something that's been conscious to you? Like, how do you think that shaped your experience growing up?
It's always been at the forefront of my mind, because, like, okay, growing up Black in America, it's like, what culture do I actually identify with? Uh-huh. So for me, and even now, like, it's always been a battle of, okay, like, I'm Black in America, but I'm also Ghanaian. But, like, even though I'm Ghanaian, I'm not, like, really closely associated with the culture. Like, even if, like, for me, I guess the closest I felt to the culture was through the music and, like, through my church experiences and family outings every now and then. But even then, I didn't really go to much of that. So it was very limited. And then, I mean, the Black culture is different. So it's like I felt myself picking aspects of both cultures and mixing aspects of both cultures, but, like, inherently, I didn't really closely identify with one, or, like, closely identify with my home, Ghana, basically. Yeah. So for me, it was always, like, growing up, it was always a tough thing to embrace. Like, it's like, I didn't really know where I belong. So obviously, through meeting more people, having more of those experiences, like, no, I'm Ghanaian. Like, you know, that's who I am. That's my blood, you know. So for me, I guess it got to the point where I know I want to be more immersed in the culture. That's who I am. That's where my family is from. So I think that's also a big part of why I took the trip. Was like, these are my roots. Like, where am I from? Like, where's my family from? And like, funny enough, I even, I was speaking with my grandmother while I was there. She's telling me all these stories and like where my parents grew up and that sort of thing. Like what clan we're from. I was like, oh, snap! Like that's dope. Like so we're from the Aguna clan in Ghana. And
Aguna?
Like, yeah, Aguna. I think it's spelled Agona.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was saying all these things like our clan symbol is like a parrot and it means like wisdom. I was like, oh no, that's no stop. That's pretty cool. So I was like, now like through this trip, I was like, okay, now I feel really close with this culture now, and I think it's definitely shaped my identity now. So it's been tough. I'm not gonna lie, it's been tough because like not really seeing where you belong. Because like, some born and bred Ghanaians would be like, oh no, like you in the U.S., you in the States type thing. Like you're not really, you're not one of us type thing.
Yeah.
But then it's like in Black culture, it's like, oh no, you're like you African booty scratcher, that sort of stuff. So it's like,
wait, what?
Yeah, like literally, that's what they used to call us in.
What did they call you?
African booty scratcher. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's so it's like, especially elementary school, middle school, like it was hard to fit in. It's like neither side accepts you. So
and do you think like the teasing made it more? I mean, do you think the teasing made it more difficult as like when you were much younger to like identify with your culture? Was it?
Absolutely.
Do you think? I think as a young person, you're easily influenced.
Absolutely.
And so did it make you want to be more American then?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It wanted, like, for me, I want to be more American because, like, I mean, it was cool. Like,
Yeah.
That was that was the vibe. Like, oh, you went to America, you're a cool kid now.
Yeah.
That type of thing. And obviously, like, at the time, being African was like kind of frowned upon, which is completely different from how it is now.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you African, okay, yeah, now you the ish. Like,
Yeah.
like, yeah. So it's like completely different perspective, completely different culture. But it's like at the time, it was difficult. I was like, yeah, no, okay. If you're calling me this, making fun of me, my African culture, like, okay, I'll try to fit in, being American and whatever. You know?
Yeah, I think people make it's so interesting how identity is so America, or at least liberal America, because I've only lived in New York, is so tied around. So I have a theory, especially in places like New York where it's very, very individualistic.
Yep.
I think the individualism goes directly against, as I said before, that we're social animals.
Yes.
We're community oriented.
Yep.
And so I think whereas the culture here is very individualistic, I think everyone now is searching to belong.
Yes.
Somewhere.
Yes.
Now for Black people, and when I say Black people, I mean the entire Black diaspora, especially people who weren't born in this, or no, people who were born in this country, because of racism here and because of how this what this country, the culture in this country, people try to find. I feel like Black people in America, they don't have, or they don't feel the foundation, because they don't feel the love from America. It is very difficult for some people to identify as American, because Americanness, a history of America has rejected Black people.
Yes.
And so those who have roots, closer roots everywhere else, they can grasp on now. Yes. They can grasp on
to that to hold on to now.
To the other culture, to be like, no, this is where I'm putting my ground.
Got me.
Yeah. This is where I'm placing my roots. You know, I mean, their roots are there, but I'm saying like this is something that they can. It's an easier for them to grasp onto as an identity. Yeah. You know what I mean? As opposed to being an American, and they are both.
Yeah.
But I think because of the struggles of Black people here, it can be very difficult for them to fully claim the Americanness. And so I can also see, as like somebody who's very young, how confusing it can be.
Yeah, it's very, very.
Getting teased for your otherness And so now you don't want to be another.
Yep.
You want to be like everyone else.
Yep, exactly.
But then growing up and realizing like, no, there is something cool.
There is something cool
about being from somewhere else, having a different culture, a special culture that you think is very special, is very unique.
Different perspective.
And then also something that ties you to those around you much, much closer. You know what I mean? There's something nice about seeing someone else from where you're from and being like,
a family, man.
Yeah.
Family.
Yeah.
Like, you get me.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's I think it's it's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
So again, back to the whole identity thing. People need an identity.
Yes.
People need an identity because they're so individualistic, or the culture is so individualistic. They need to belong to something. So the identity is very important because it helps you. It helps you identify your group, your clan, your community. And so I think it forces people to be a lot more conscious of, oh, maybe I want to learn a bit more about who I am and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you found your way back.
Oh yeah, for real.
You know,
I'm home.
and I think, does it inspire you to keep learning more? Do you think?
Absolutely inspired me to keep learning more. I think, funny enough, like there's some things that I wasn't really like, I guess, interested in at first. Like, I don't know, even with like the politics in Ghana.
Yeah.
And like, the whole government policies and all that. Like, I wasn't really, keeping track of that, keeping tabs of that.
Yeah.
Like now it's like, okay, I've experienced it. Like, no, like this stuff is crazy. Like, what's going on here? Like, fix it. Like, like, but, so like now I feel like, okay.
It's precious to you.
Yeah. Now I have a close connection to it.
Yes.
Now it's like, okay, no, this actually matters to me.
Yep.
And like, it's different because, you'd hear your parents talk about it. You'd hear family members talk about it, but it's like, it doesn't really mean anything to you because you haven't gone through that. You haven't experienced that. So like me going through this experience now is like, I see the importance in this. I see, okay, no, this stuff matters and all this needs to be fixed. Yeah. So it's like, dare I say, let me be president type of thing. But it's like, no, like, that stuff matters to me a lot more now.
Yeah.
So it's definitely made me want to learn more about what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And like, how I can be involved, whether it's like, helping family and certain things. But yeah, I think it's definitely opened up my perspective. And even with like speaking the language. At home, I do speak our native language, which is Tree, with my family. But over there, it's like, okay, now I'm pushing myself to speak it more. Like I want to be more fluent in it type thing. So it's definitely opened my eyes to like broaden myself and like be more immersed in the culture. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's lovely. So one more thing I want to ask you about.
Shoot it.
You grew up in the Bronx?
Yes, the boogie down.
You don't live in the Bronx anymore.
No, I don't.
You recent? Not recent. At this point, it's been a couple of years now.
It's been since when was our senior year? So like what, 4 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 years now.
How has that transition been for you?
Oh, I loved it.
You loved it?
I loved it. I loved it. Look, cook me all you want, but I love it. And I stand by it. Like for me.
You're a Jersey boy?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not a full-on Jersey boy. Like, my life is still in the city. The city still has my heart. But I like the peace and quiet. You know, I like, not waiting 4 hours to find parking. Look, so
live in the suburbs?
Yeah. So, but it's not like, for us, it's not like the suburbs. It's not like, oh, if I scream, nobody will hear me.
Yeah. It's a neighborhood.
It's a neighborhood. So, and it's not far from the city either. It's like 15, 20 minutes. If there's traffic, maybe like 40 minutes.
I'm sure you have more space.
Yeah, more space.
You have your own studio.
I mean, I had a studio when we were in the Bronx, but it's like not to this degree.
Yeah.
So it's like, now I can make noise all I want.
Yeah.
Type thing,
It's like a basement.
Yeah, basement, exactly. I soundproof everything. So it was like, I love this space.
Yeah.
Love this space, man. Like for me, we made the move during COVID when interest rates were low.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, my family hopped on it. Like, it was like, not waste any time. Just gonna take this chance. Because like, if not now, then when? So I think the thing that triggered us the most to make the move is like, funny enough, on July 4th, my dad came downstairs because obviously everybody's like partying, like people playing music, loud, smoking hookah, doing this, blowing fireworks. They're like triple parked on the street. It's like crazy stuff. So my dad goes down. He's like, yo, like, Mike, you see what's going on? I was like, bro, this is old news.
Yeah.
They've been doing this.
Yeah.
So I think that instance really shocked him. And he's like, nah, we got to get out of here.
Wait, but was he not there?
No, like he was always there, but I don't think like.
I guess because it was 4th in 2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
In 2020, yeah.
So it I guess he was at work more and yeah.
Either work or sleeping, but like apparently this time he was wide awake.
He had it.
He had it.
I think 2020 was a year of a change for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There was a lot of time to reflect.
A lot of
time.
A lot of time. He had all the time to work. You're home. What you doing? You reflected. That's it.
And is there anything about living in Jersey that has, because this is about, I actually do not restrict not your culture to a different country.
Yeah.
You're in a different state now.
And
I'm like, what are some of the changes other than the wildness and busyness of New York and that kind of stuff and the space? Are there any other things that like have been different for you? I'm sure you visited Jersey, but living there is a different thing.
Living there is definitely different. There's a couple things I had to get used to. I don't got a bodega right across the street, so like that was a huge change.
Bodegas are like the unsung hero.
Oh, absolutely.
And every time I go, I love St. Lucia, but I can't do food truck every night. Like sometimes at 1 a.m., like I need variety, and there's I don't think there's a 1 a.m. supermarket in St. Lucia. The bodega is perfect to just get your essentials. If you want a snack, if you want ice cream, if you want candy, you want any type of sandwich, if you want a salad.
You need cleaning supplies, you got it. Everything's there. You gotta worry about nothing.
This is one of the best inventions of all time.
Seriously.
St. Lucia needs more bodegas.
Though.
St. Lucia needs more bodegas. I'm gonna move back to St. Lucia and open a bodega.
Petition. Bodegas.
No, that's a real thing though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I think one of the times it's one of the things I took for granted about New York. And there aren't many things that like I'm like, boy, I wish I was back in New York for this.
Oh, yep.
But like late night food.
Oh, absolutely.
I love some of the food trucks in St. Lucia. There's like a food truck. Yeah. Actually, I have friends who run 2 or 3 different food trucks. Mm-hmm. And I go to them, but there's only so many times I can eat wings and fries. Especially when I'm on vacation too. Like I need something else. Yeah. And it's very nice to have
chopped cheese or something. Something. Oh, what's that new sandwich Alex got?
The Papi Peña. Big up to my boy Alex who has his sandwich named after him.
It's good, bro. You gotta try it. It's banging. Oh man, but
no, I feel that.
Yeah,
I feel that. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like it definitely changed my lifestyle because, like, now, okay, everything's a drive away. If I do want late eats, it's like, okay, we got Wawa or something.
Yeah.
If not Wawa, then like there was a shop right that was like 24 hours.
Yeah.
So like I found myself, okay, 3 a.m. I'm grocery shopping, get some stuff, and even like my work style, like, you know, I'm up pretty late, so it's like I was able to quickly find where I could get late eats. And all that. Like, and now I'm like Uber Eats in a lot more, which I wasn't doing that. It's like all those costs are racking up.
Yeah.
Like, so it was like being in Jersey definitely like changed my lifestyle. It's like I'm going to Walmart again. Stuff. It's like, I was doing this. Why am I going to Target 3 times a week?
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy. Yeah. Sometimes you're not even getting nothing. You just vibes.
Yeah.
It's because you can't. Like, yo, mom, I'm going to Target. What you getting? I don't know. See what I get.
We were talking about this privilege earlier.
Privilege.
We were talking about this privilege earlier.
Oh, God, help me.
Check your privilege, bro. He said he's going just for vibes.
Just for vibes, Just for vibes. But you know what it is?
Going to Target just for vibes is hilarious.
You know what it is? I think it's because, working from home, like I'm at my desk all day, so sometimes I just want to go out. Like,
yeah. And do you work from your studio desk?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was also a tough transition because at first I didn't have, even now I still don't really have I didn't have like a separation between my workspace and then my studio space.
Yeah.
So like everything was like all bunched into one. So it was like hard to transition between work and
Yeah.
that. But like, I've been able to work around it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very interesting too. Yeah, it's changed my lifestyle completely. yeah.
No, I think you do need that separation, especially like working from home.
Yeah.
Like it's nice because even with me, like I don't want to. I feel like I'm having my desk in my room. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
It feels too close.
Yeah.
When I'm working from home. Yeah. And I feel like it's nice to have that separation
Yeah.
of space and also of like purpose.
Yeah.
You know? So that's really good. But Mykel, this has been a lovely talk.
Look, this is lovely, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you having me here.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming.
Oh.
You must be tired. You just came from a trip.
Oh no, I'm motivated. I told you, I'm ready. I'm ready, man. Give me all the work. Projects, give it to me.
Thank you for taking the time to come here.
I appreciate it, man.
It's been lovely. It's lovely catching up with you. I haven't seen you since when did we?
Collier.
Yes. We went to a concert earlier.
A whole nother episode.
Yeah.
A whole nother episode. Man. Oh man.
We share some interests in certain musicians, and we got to go to a concert this year together after not hanging out in like a very long time. Yeah. So it's nice seeing but it's nice seeing you today. Thank you for being here. Can you tell the people where they can find you?
You can find me at all streaming platforms. If you type in my name, Mykel, last name Agyenim-Boateng. You can find me on all streaming platforms. I have a single out called Cover Me on all streaming platforms, so check it out.
And I have one more question for you, Mykel, before we go. Where is home for you?
Home is where the heart is.
Is that your answer? Is that your final answer?
Home is where the heart is. The final answer. That's the final answer. Home is where the heart is. No, but wait, because my heart has changed multiple times as to where I go.
Okay.
So, end all be all, home is where my heart is.
Okay, and can you elaborate what you mean by your heart?
Where I feel connected to the most.
Well, thank you, Mykel. It's been a wonderful time with you.
Thank you.
And thank you to everyone who is watching. Thank you again for tuning in. We will see you next time on the Not Your Culture podcast. Have a good one.
Have a good one, y'all.